Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Digital Media Sync. We are going to get started right away. This is a very important topic. This is about using digital tools for your job search. And I have a special guest once again today, and so I'm super happy to be welcoming Randye Spina.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I think what I'm going to do too is I'm actually going to bring your presentation up as well, right? And we had talked a little bit about this topic. 14 must-have digital job and gig search tools. And I'm glad that you brought up gig search tools as well, because there's a lot of us who are or have started as solopreneurs, and the way that we kind of searched for projects was in the same way that we search for a job in a way.
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants a job. A lot of people just want either contract work or, some kind of side gig. But yeah, it's all the same process. It's all marketing, really.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'm glad that we're looking at this through a marketing lens as well, right? This is talking about kind of understanding and utilizing your personal brand and kind of infusing that idea into when you start looking at social media platforms and apps and tools.
Definitely.
Cool. Do you want to get started with the presentation part of it? I'm super excited.
Okay, so I want to say also that being a marketer my entire career, that there's the 4 P's of marketing, right? Price, product, promotion, and place.
Right.
They since added a 5th, which is packaging. So what I have done is, and I teach this to my students, and I've done workshops on this at the university level. It is you are the product. If you apply the marketing, the marketing process to a gig or a job search, you are the product, right? So it's you, your name, your brand, like you just said, your image, your digital footprint, all of that. Your price is your either your salary, your hourly rate, your project rate, however that's going to be charged. Your packaging is how you dress and your physical image, and what you how you appear to people.
Right.
And that's true both in person and digitally, right? Of course, in today's world. And then promotion is all your materials. So whether it's a website, your LinkedIn profile, your online portfolio, your resume, your cover letter, business cards, all of that. And then the last one is place, and that is where you want to work, either geographically, maybe it's from home, maybe you want to be on site, maybe you want to move to another state, right? So everything that I'm going to talk about is framed within those 5 P's. So to start, the very first thing, of course, I think everybody should be using Gmail, just because it's universally become sort of the, email platform. It also allows you to do the, file sharing and, use a lot of tools that Gmail offers, and calendar and all of that. So one of the things that I suggest, and again, I tell this to my students all the time, is set up a separate Gmail account. If you are searching for a job, then it will have your name, maybe your phone number, a link to your LinkedIn, or your website if you have a portfolio, or whatever that might be. But the idea, and if you're looking for a gig, then you probably already have a Gmail account set up for that. And the reason is more psychological than anything. It's like when you check that account, then you are in that mode. You know what I mean? You're not, you're not looking at coupons and your email account, or So I like the idea of having sort of a wall around, or a separate silo for your job search. And it's mostly so that you can set up a signature block, which is, really important.
Right. I was going to say that the things that you were mentioning were things that you would do for a signature block.
Right. Right. And it's, it looks professional. You can put links in your signature block. You can also set up, if you know how to do this and you are a designer, you can have like some fancy, where it almost looks like a business card, maybe a logo, or you do something fun with your initials, and it has live links. So if you know how to do that, then definitely, or, have someone do that for you. But even just a regular signature block, that is, and I would recommend using a color that is not black ink, on the screen, so it really stands out.
Yeah.
And it's just, another way for you to stand out, amongst all of your competitors. Because the truth is that depending upon what kind of job or gig, you're looking for, the person on the other end could be looking at 1,000 resumes.
Right. And that's the thing, right?
Right.
Like,
so
there's a lot of competition.
Right. And so again, I frame this all within the 5 Ps of marketing. This is a campaign, right? And you're going to be tracking stuff, and you're going to be, it's not like, woe is me, I need a job, although that might be part of it. But publicly, what you're going to be portraying is that you are conducting a professional search for whatever it is that you're looking for. And this is a campaign. So you have to be able to lay everything out and, track everything and stand away, from your competition, which leads to LinkedIn, right?
Right.
So I'm still very surprised at the lack of involvement on LinkedIn. A lot of people just have, they'll have a photo, but they won't have a banner. It won't be 100%, what they call all-star. You're missing pieces, or it's not constructed in a way that's powerful. And LinkedIn has so many white papers and best practices that you can tap into. You can go to their website, you can look up HubSpot, and all of those tools that will really show you how to do a LinkedIn that is powerful. So LinkedIn now, like all other platforms, are SEO driven. So you can have a sentence as your description, or you can have words like I do. You can have some kind of an offer, like delivering the best graphic design to small businesses, let's say. So there are a number of ways that you can use that headline. And what I suggest you do is, LinkedIn has become pretty robust with their hashtags. So you can, you can search for hashtags, and you can see sometimes, again, just like SEO, pluralizing something can mean the difference between tens of thousands of people looking at it, or just 7 people looking at it.
It's true. It's true. And I love the fact that LinkedIn is using hashtags now. And not only are they doing that, they're being pretty predictive with their hashtags as well.
Right.
One of the things that I've been doing, just anecdotally, you can upload visuals. So you can upload, I can upload this right here, and you can upload this video right here. So I've been doing a lot of that because I want to do more speaking and more instructing. So I'm showing examples of my work.
Right, right. One thing that I caution people not to do, though, is sometimes they'll put their resume up and think that then they don't have to fill in any of the, any of the pre-constructed architecture within LinkedIn, that, people are just going to naturally read like a tiny little PDF on a screen. They're not. You may have a link and it may say, download my resume here if interested, or my portfolio, or, whatever that might be. But putting up a resume does not negate filling in all of the architecture that LinkedIn has
Right.
built into its system. So, I've come across that. And first of all, it's, almost impossible to read, first of all. And second of all, it comes off as very naive. Like you don't know how to use the platform. So, spend some time educating yourself. And if you're looking for a job on LinkedIn, you can set up all kinds of job search alerts that include title, geography, salary, industry. I mean, it's very, very robust. And now what they've done since COVID is you can put that green, it's almost like that little thing on the bottom. It says open to work.
Yeah.
So you can do that. There's pluses and minuses to doing that. You obviously need to be careful if you're currently employed not to do that. You don't want anyone seeing that. But they have since launched a new feature as well, which is you can make it open to work where only recruiters will see it.
We'll see it.
So publicly, if you look at someone's profile, it doesn't have that green circle and no one knows. But recruiters who pay you LinkedIn and have all these special tools on the other end, you will come up in a database. And if you do that, you also then will, first of all, you should kind of always be doing that, right? Especially if you're big freelance, why not, right? But I would be careful about doing that publicly. There's pluses and minuses to that. So LinkedIn says that you will, the algorithm will pick up that you have that on your photo, and that you'll appear higher up in searches from recruiters. But other people say that's not true. So that's a personal decision depending upon the situation that you're in. But just know that you can do it behind the scenes so that recruiters will see it.
Got it.
So, okay, the next is Canva, which is linked to LinkedIn, because what a lot of people don't realize is that the real estate at the top of your LinkedIn profile, that banner,
yes,
so many are blank or just not powerful looking. So again, all of these tools that I'm talking about today are free. So, right, Gmail's free, LinkedIn is free, Canva is free, right? So you can have a Canva account, you can go in and you can search for LinkedIn banners, and then you can customize it in any way with colors or whatever it is that you want to say. It should be relevant to your industry or relevant to keywords that you want to be found for, so that when someone lands on your LinkedIn profile, you look packaged, right? It's one of the 5 keys, right? You look packaged. And so if you know anything about hex colors or, PMS colors or any of that, if what I've started doing maybe about a year and a half ago, even pre-COVID, I started like, here are my favorite colors, and here are the hex numbers, right? Those 6 color-coded numbers, and I have carried them through to everything. So I've carried them through to my profile, I've carried them through to the website I set up, I've carried them through to business cards that I had made. So that hex color is another way of branding yourself. So I have 3. Just because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to use. So I have 3.
Yeah, but you know what? That really works too, because when you're branding yourself and you're putting something together, having 2 or 3 colors is really helpful, because if you're changing things up, you can use, I think with my She's So Social brand, I have like 4 or 5 total, and I carry all of them through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nice way to, and colorfully stand out from, again, those 999 other people who are going to want that same gig or job that you do.
Right. Having a little bit of design sense, Yeah.
Exactly. Even if you're not a designer, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be a graphic designer to have
Right.
colors, I would be color appropriate. What I mean by that is if you are looking for a job in finance, you probably want to appear a bit more, I don't know, corporate, if that's the right word. But if you are indeed a designer of some kind, then of course, you want to be very playful.
Right.
And that also gives you the opportunity then to, when we were talking about Gmail, to choose, although you can't match exactly, it's somewhat constrained, but you can then match. So in my email, because one of my colors is purple, I have my signature block in purple, so it sort of looks packaged a little bit. And the other thing I want to say about Canva is they have created such a wide array of formats that you can choose from. So they've gone so far beyond social media and, the right thing for Facebook, ad versus, Instagram. And they have really expanded their offerings. It's blown me away.
All their sizing is, they have a lot of sizings. I think the other thing too is they do have a lot of templates as well. So in each size for each platform, you can go in and grab a template for that platform, and you could start playing with like the design. And this is where you're saying like you don't have to be a designer, because they'll have templates, and if something catches your eye, you can either take that design as it is, or take the design and change up the color and the font so it matches more of what your personal brand is.
Right, exactly. And Canva also now has resume, letterhead, business cards. They have just, exploded with all of these tools, and they're free. And even with a free account, you can set up your own. I think they cap you at 3. But even with the free account, you can have like your colors, your hex colors, if you will. So they're always right there at the top, so you don't have to keep looking up the 6-digit code for hex numbers, right? You can always have those 3 like right at the top. So they've expanded, but beyond anything I think that anyone ever imagined that they would be. And I've played around with some of their stuff. So I have like a sell sheet or a 1-page for something that I'm doing right now, and I've incorporated the colors, my 3 text colors in there. And so it's funny, when I log into my Canva account, it looks like a fully designed portfolio because the colors go across everything that I've been doing.
You've been doing, So there's consistency.
And when you look at it like that, you're like, oh, wow, right. Like something is formulating, right? You're creating something that reflects you. And it is, you may not see that as you're posting on LinkedIn or posting on, like Twitter, whatever it might be that you're using. But when you look at it all on the screen on Canva, it can look and feel very powerful, which is a nice boost to have when you're, you might be having a down day, right? If you're looking for something. So it just, and they do printing too, by the way, now. I don't know if everybody knows that, but you can have things printed through Canva now as well. Like brochures, sell sheets, business cards, and things like that. Okay, so the next one is Bitly. So not everyone might know about Bitly, but again, free. And so set up a Bitly account, and at the end of this, you'll see how I use it. There is, you can copy and paste a long URL. For example, your LinkedIn URL, which by the way should be customized. You should customize Right. I forgot to say that, but you should customize. And then you can turn that into a Bitly. And what a Bitly does is, you'll have a dashboard and you'll have all your Bitlys that you create, and it takes, it's called a link shortener, but it's more than that, because once you take a long link and you put it into Bitly, you can customize the back end of it, even in a free account, right?
Yeah.
So let's say it's bit.ly.com/ and you'll see what mine is again at the end, RS Spina LinkedIn. What that does is you can then track on your dashboard the number of clicks on that link. So again, this is part of campaign management, right? If you have a Bitly for your LinkedIn and it's on your resume and it's on your materials and it's on your signature block, you can track and see. You won't know who, but you will know how many.
Yeah.
And I find that very helpful. So you can Bitly your LinkedIn, you can Bitly your website, your digital portfolio, a blog if you're a writer. I write on Medium and I've Bitly'd that. So I have a whole list of Bitlys. You just have to go in and play if you don't know what it is. It's a really fun tool.
And again, it's very easy to use as well.
Right.
And you can, I love using Bitly, and I love the fact that you talked about utilizing tracking. So you can see how people are coming to, LinkedIn or your website or any of the platforms, because that's really helpful to at least see numbers and where people are viewing from. And obviously, like you said, you can't see them, who they actually are.
Right.
But are the platforms working for you, and what do you have to adjust?
Right. And so some people might be saying, well, I have a website, I have, Google Webmaster Tools, and I can see how many people are coming to my website. And that's true, but that's only for your website, and that's only if you have one. So if you only have LinkedIn, or if you only have a blog, then Google's tools don't apply. So then that's where Bitly comes in. And they can work together also, by the way. Your Google search tools are sort of in aggregate, but Bitly is very specific to each link.
Yeah.
And they don't negate each other. They play well
together. Yeah, they work together.
Yep. Okay, so the next one is FreePDFConvert. So this is, sometimes if you upload something, or, an image, or, even a resume, you might want to use it in a different way. You might need a JPEG, you might need a PNG file. Sometimes you'll use your snipping tool and you'll take you'll take a snip of something, but where you're trying to land it doesn't accept PNGs. So you can do all kinds of conversions on free PDF. And I don't, depending upon if you work on a Mac or PC, or, if you have Adobe, or, whatever your skill set is, or if you're in corporate finance, you might not have any of these skills, right? This is not your world. So free PDF is a great way. You can do one conversion per hour with a free account. So you can, you have to wait a while, but I have found it very helpful. And the other thing that I want to make sure that I say is, if you are sending out a sell sheet that you've created for yourself, like a one-pager or your resume, you never want to send it out in its raw format. You always want to convert it to PDF, because PDF is a flat file that any system can read. And also, to protect yourself, no one can change it on the other end. So, I mean, you can if you know what you're doing and if you have Adobe, but, it is, you don't lose anything. So you create, let's say, from Word or from Pages, and you create a PDF, and then that's what you send out. And it's just, it looks more professional too when things arrive as a PDF. And this is true both for your resume, for a one-pager if you've created that, for a cover letter. Right? So all of these things that travel together to or that are going to land in someone's inbox should all be PDF, because that's, best practices and easiest, on the other end for them. And you want to make sure you make it easy for them on the other side. And not every platform plays well with pages. So it's especially important. Yeah. So, I teach, right? I'm online, and, I have students submit stuff in pages. I can't open it. You tell them, you got to convert it. So a PDF is readable across all platforms. Okay, the next one is Hootsuite. So, we love Hootsuite, right, for what we do. But Hootsuite, if you really want to plan a campaign for yourself, then using Hootsuite to be able to consistently post to whatever platform you're using. So Hootsuite plays well with LinkedIn, and it plays well with Twitter. And those are probably the two things that you're going to be using most for a job search. If you are in the creative fields in any way, you probably will also be using Instagram, but Instagram and Hootsuite don't get along anyway. You'll have to use a different platform for that, right? It's called Later, I believe.
Right.
Right. So that would be separate anyway. Yeah. So, you can sit down once a week and say, okay, so I want to share these articles. I want to make these comments. I want to start branding myself as an expert in whatever. You can sit down, you're in your mindset, and you can plan out a whole week of posts. Hootsuite will let you do 30 days or 30 posts, but you may not be able to think that far ahead, or that may feel too, make you hyperventilate a little bit. So just,
but that's the thing too. The more that you are able to, plan out your search, whatever it is, job search, gig search, freelance search, and you're treating yourself as if you're a business.
Right.
I'm branding myself, I'm scheduling across platforms, I'm thinking about what my content is, and treating that as a job, as your job, and spending, 15, 20 minutes each day. So if you're on Hootsuite, if you schedule out a week or two, what is that going to take you? Maybe an hour total if you're using your Canva and you're designing everything, and then you're loading it up, and then you're scheduling. And the other thing that I like about that too is, again, that does have a built-in feature for analytics.
Right. So the Hootsuite dashboard is very robust. Again, free, and you can, so you can look at who is anybody who comments, anybody who shares. It's really very, very robust. And what I love how they have evolved over time is that Hootsuite now, when you go in and you look at it, it's literally, it looks like a calendar. It's not just a list anymore. So if like me, you are a visual person and I think visually, it's very helpful for me. And so Hootsuite also is, you don't have to remind yourself every day, I need to be posting, I need to be sharing. And you can log into your accounts through Hootsuite. So you don't really ever have to go to the platforms. You can comment, you can do all this within the dashboard of Hootsuite. So that's really helpful too, so that you are, again, sort of looking at everything, strategically or holistically, as if it were a campaign, rather than going here and then going there and logging in here. And, and especially if you're on your phone, or, or you go away for a few days, you can plan this stuff, ahead of time. And you can look at it in aggregate, which I think is really helpful and a nice evolution from Hootsuite. So the next one is Paper.li. So a lot of people don't know about this. It also has evolved over time. But here's what Paper.li does. I use it for Twitter.
Okay.
So you set up, it's like a newsletter. But what it does is it produces content once a day. So if you set it up to integrate with your Twitter account, then every day your Twitter will post through Paper.li, and it will pick up people or companies that you are connected to, and it will mention them with the @, which then notifies them. And that's how you can start getting traction with people or companies that you want to work with or for. And so people will see that you are, I don't know, let's say you want to work for, an advertising agency. If you follow their Twitter account, you have to follow them in order for this to happen. You have to be connected to them, in other words. And then, so let's say they post something about, they just landed a new client. If your Paper.li newsletter the next day will @them, and it will it will pick up their congratulations, right? That, hey, we picked up a brand new client, blah, blah, blah. And then they will probably like it and maybe respond to it.
Right.
Right. It's a way for you to, first of all, publish every 24 hours without having to go in there and publish every 24 hours.
Right.
And depending upon, how you've built your Twitter. And again, just like Gmail, you might want to have a separate Twitter account in order to be able to do Paper.li professionally, because you don't want, the silly things that you might say kidding around on a personal level attached to any of this. So my best advice would be to set up a separate professional Twitter account, so your Twitter and your LinkedIn will always be professional content along with that Gmail account. So again, right, this is a campaign. These are your integrated marketing communication tools that are separate from your personal life. So I love Paper.li because it posts for me every day. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I have to revisit Paper.li. Actually, I used it a while ago. And then I stopped using it because I was using other tools, and I felt like, oh, I can only use so many tools at a time. But now as I'm listening to you, I'm like, I'm going to have to revisit this.
Yeah, it's become very robust. When I started using Paper.li, and by the way, I couldn't even cancel mine if I tried, because I have no idea how to log into that account anymore. I tried. So, like for the next 1,000 years, this is going to be tweeting daily for me. I have gone in recently and done some research about Paper.li, and they now post to Facebook. They do a whole lot of other things now. I still, for some reason, just associate them with Twitter because that's how I started.
That's how you used it, yeah.
Yeah, I would be careful with Facebook though, because again, unless you have a separate professional page, you want to be careful with your Facebook account.
What you're right. So is there a freemium, or this is paid? This is a premium?
It's both. So, again, it's the free. All of these are free, but you can always, upgrade to
upgrade it.
Right. And I don't, I'm not sure with Paper.li if you upgraded what you would get. Maybe you would get, more Twitter accounts or more other, if you're doing it with Facebook, you'd get 3 Facebook accounts. Maybe like from an agency perspective, if you were managing client accounts. So I'm not sure what the paid Paper.li gets you, but but the free is so robust. You know, I mean, I'm blown away.
Well, it looks like right now you get hold on, it's $12 per month, $12.99 per month, and you can do a free trial.
Okay.
So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll start a free trial and see what's up with that, and then I can do a little something on this. I just wanted to make mention too that as we're talking about this, I'm putting the URLs for each of these tools in the comment section. So if people are watching and they want to take a look at each of the tools that Randye is talking about, they're in the comment section.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. People are going to find this really helpful.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I think this is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, how sweet. I love that. Okay, so let's move on to hunter.io. This is something that I learned about a couple of years ago, and it blew me away. If you want to email someone and you can't find their email anywhere, hunter.io is the place to search.
Whoa, okay.
So, you know, if you wanted to, let's say, send an email with your, digital brochure, right? Or your resume, which really is a digital brochure, but
right.
You know what I mean? And you can't find, I don't know, a big company, right? You can't find, let's say, the CEO's email, right? Because the CEO's email doesn't always follow the same architecture as everybody else's, and that's on purpose, right? So if it's, first name, last initial at company.com, and you know the CEO's name, it's probably going to be a different architecture, or they will have that account set up, but it goes to staff. So usually, the higher up you go, they will change the architecture of their email addresses so that, these people aren't like flooded beyond belief, right? So, and it's become more common now where companies just don't want to receive emails.
Yeah.
Or floods of them, unless they give them out, to a client or to a vendor that they're doing business with. So you'll go to their website, you can't get anybody's, it's just a contact form, and you can't get anybody's email address. And this also is true for recruiters, by the way. If you go on to like a big recruiting company's website, they're probably not going to publicly display their emails. So hunter.io is it's changed. I looked at it yesterday in preparation for today. It's changed a little bit, but you can put in a company name and the person that you're looking for, the title that you're looking for, and it just goes and hunts, basically, right, and comes back with a possible email. It's not 100% accurate, but it's better to try that than to have, nothing at all.
Right.
So it can definitely help you. And it's kind of a fun tool to play around with. Also free, of course. The next one, Grammarly. Oh my God. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't know how to say this in a way that I will never have to say this again, especially to students. When you are out there, however you are out there, even if it's only your resume and cover letter, it is, you cannot have mistakes. You just can't. So Grammarly is helpful, and LinkedIn. And so one of my students connected with me on LinkedIn, and I accepted. And then, I looked at the profile, and there was a typographical error in the headline. And so, I messaged this person and I said, "Aren't you glad we connected?" You've got it.
Right. Yeah.
So Grammarly is helpful, obviously, for spelling, but also for grammar, and even the free version is very helpful. I have the pro version because I'm writing on Medium now, and I'm doing a lot of writing work. But this is, there's, no reason not to. And people say, well, Word and Pages have, built-in spell check. Well, they do, but that doesn't work when you're on a platform. Grammarly will work when you are online. It will work when you are on LinkedIn, on Twitter, wherever you are. So it carries over digitally. It isn't just in the word
Right.
processing that you're using. And a lot of people don't know that. So, Grammarly is a godsend. And if you're going to do a lot of writing and, job search entails, or gig search entails quite a lot of writing.
Yep.
You might want to consider getting the paid version because it very much is worth it. But if not, at least use the free version, and also have another set of eyes on your work. That's always helpful as well, right?
Yeah.
You can never, like, to this day, I've never read my own book. I'm terrified that I'm going to find, even though I had an editor, I'm terrified that I'm going to find something and be embarrassed. So I've never read my own book. It's been 10 years. I had someone else read it and someone else edit, and help me. But another set of eyes is always, always helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is Eventbrite. So Eventbrite is great for more than just, hey, we're going hiking this weekend. Eventbrite is not that that's not great, and I know you're a hiker, and that's why I said that. But a lot of industry, even though they're online now, right? A lot of industry events promote themselves on Eventbrite.
They do.
And also Meetup. I should say Meetup as well. But, most people professionally associate most professional people associate with Eventbrite, but it also is Meetup. So Eventbrite is, I remember the last time that I did, that I volunteered at Startup Weekend at Yale.
That's right.
I was asking people, how'd you hear about this? Oh, on Eventbrite. And that was such a great networking opportunity for me. And actually that gig and that thing that I did for those, several years in a row, that's how you and I met, because I got tied into that whole, whole like, New Haven thing. So Eventbrite is, they'll put like expos on there. They'll put, conferences. They'll put, all kinds of professional meetings. So you should have a look. And, again, it's free. Not all the events are necessarily free, but you have the account, is free.
And I think that's the difference too between Eventbrite and Meetup. I think that Meetup now is not free, but I could be wrong. However, I do have to say that I equate the two both with business, because with Meetup, you can actually follow groups.
Right.
And you can follow professional groups.
Right.
And you'll get notifications. So interestingly enough, the old co-working space, the Grove, their professional group is still up, and there's like 1,000 followers in that group. And I can post things to that group. I can post things to a known group. I can post things to other groups if I have things that are coming up.
Right.
So, and that's, so Meetup or Eventbrite, I think are really good to keep in touch with and make sure that you're following organizations and events that are, networking events that happen often or on a regular basis.
Right. And it doesn't, even if you don't attend them, you can use the event, and then you can go to LinkedIn, and like I did something on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. It was amazing. It was a full day. I didn't attend every session, but it was a full day. It was called the Nonprofit Summit, and it was hosted by this group who got together on LinkedIn and said, hey, we're dealing with all this online stuff. Let's do this. And it was great. It was amazing. It was people all over the U.S. who were, giving, workshops and things like that. And I'm sure that was probably on Eventbrite. So if you learn about it on Eventbrite, then you can go to the platform. And then it also gives you an idea of what's happening in the industry,
Yeah.
up and coming, like, trends, buzzwords, and then that translates to hashtags on LinkedIn and Twitter. So it's a way for you to see, right, like what's happening. And as the world reopens, these things will be in person. So, why not? I mean, and I'm sure a lot of things are going to stay, with the option of being online as well, perhaps for a while anyway. And there's so much good stuff going on. I mean, I feel so overscheduled these days because it's just so easy, right, to attend a summit, from your home office or
anywhere. Yeah.
Right.
True.
So Eventbrite / Meetup, both are great tools to be able to network. Okay, so the next one is Google Meet, and I use this with my writers group. We are dispersed all over the world, and we're India, all over Europe, all over the US, Canada, and Google Meet is a great tool to be able to, you don't have those time or number of attendee restrictions like you have on, some other free accounts like Zoom. So Google Meet, you can share screen, you can, there's a whiteboard feature. It's again, it's free, and you don't have to have a Gmail account to use it. I tested this with, we had a little reunion of some of the girls that I grew up with, and we decided to do it on, the first time we did it was Facebook, a Facebook room, and the second time we did it was on Google Meet, and you don't have to have a Gmail account to do it. So it's a nice way to say, if you have 3 people and you want to talk for more than 40 minutes, it's easy, it's free, and it really has all of the same features that Zoom has. So I threw that in there because it's a nice way to show that you're savvy and that you know how to do all this stuff. Okay, the next one is Wix. So Wix is a free, of course there's also paid, website creator. And I have to say, when I was deep into running my agency and doing a lot of web work with clients, I was very anti-Wix. It was like, WordPress.
Right.
But Wix has come a long way. My website that I did is on Wix for myself. Wix has, there's a local yoga place that I used to go to in person, right? Now everything
right, yeah, we don't do that anymore.
They have such a robust presence, and they're using a Wix website. You would be amazed at what Wix can do these days. So if you have, because LinkedIn sold off the, what were they using as the platform to be able to put your portfolio up on? I can't remember the name.
I can't remember that one either.
Yeah, it's been a while. They sold it off sometime last year. So a lot of people were relying on that. If you were a creative of any kind, or even if you were a writer, an illustrator, whatever that might be. So now you can use Wix. So it's free. You'll have the ad at the bottom, or you can pay. and they have sales all the time. But Wix now has all sorts of integrations, like the equivalent of WooCommerce. You can almost like Shopify your Wix website if you wanted to. They've really come a long way. So I would highly recommend that if you wanted to have even just a one-page website.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you want to have a one-page site, again, if you're doing personal branding for, freelance, or even if, you're using that as your resume, CV, portfolio, like just having some place for people to go to, and again, putting yourself ahead of other candidates.
Exactly. And especially if you are in any of the fields where it will be expected that you know how to at least use some digital tools, you've now proven that you know how to use them because you created one for yourself.
Right.
So it's the best proof, right, is in the pudding. It's not, a sentence on a resume, right? That, I know how to, build websites. You don't have to say that if you have one.
Right.
Because then you've proven, right? So that leaves more real estate free on your cover letter and your website. Sorry, your cover letter and your resume to say other more important things because you are, you don't have to say this. You've just proven it. And then, so you'll have your URL and then you bit.ly that, right?
Right.
So it all comes together. The next one, and this is a great one, BigInterview.com. So I learned about this through the communications course that I teach at University of New Haven. They are very adamant about training, incoming freshmen with job search skills. They do an awesome job of this. So one of the tools that they use is BigInterview. And so, of course, they have the paid version, right? But again, right, free. It's filled with videos, and it's filled with all kinds of, like top 10 questions, and it's really helpful, and you can use those to practice. It's so robust. I mean, that website is so robust, and you can get a lot without paying.
Yeah.
They have videos you can watch. There's like before and after videos, like a crappy interview and then a really good one, and you could see how the person applies what they teach on BigInterview to the the good one. And they address a lot of things, including like how to shake someone's hand. I mean, it's so robust. It's really great. And I know that, most people who are going to be watching are going to say, it doesn't really apply to me. No, but maybe a lot of other stuff in here probably will. I highly recommend BigInterview. And yes, this is number 15, Vistaprint. It is not free. However, it is a great tool for $9.99. You can get, I think, 100 or maybe 250 business cards. And it is well worth it, so that when the world opens up again, or if you're looking for a gig and you mail something, like snail mail something to somebody, you drop a business card in there. It's really impressive to do that. And also you then, the PDF that they print from within Vistaprint, you can use the snipping tool, and you can put that like under your signature block. You can put that in other places on your website, your portfolio. So I highly recommend that people get, even, you don't need a job to have a business card, right? Nobody has to issue one for you. You can create your own, and using the hex numbers so everything matches. And I'm just a big believer in having, in fact, so I had these made that match my my LinkedIn. I hope you can see this in the camera. And a print on the back. Always print on the back.
Print on the back as well, right? You utilize all the space.
Right. It's your billboard, and it just costs like 25% more to print on the back of a business card, but you get 100% more space. So it's, if you have messaging, if you have, keywords that you associate within your field, you can put those on the back. So I'm a big believer in having business cards. And again, as the world opens up again, and, if you find something wonderful on Eventbrite, and you want to go and you want to network,
Right.
most people will just take a shot of what your business card looks like anyway. You probably won't use a lot of them. You'll, instead of handing them out, you'll just hold it and they'll take a picture of it. That
And
happens all the
yeah,
time.
exactly. Or have a
Right.
QR. Like a lot of people I remember would have like a QR code or something
QR
similar on the card. People
Right.
tap phones, but it's always good to have something that's tactile and available to look at that's not on a screen.
Right. And again, if you approach this process as a marketing campaign, then you are having something to give someone when no one else does
that.
Right. Is again a way for you to stand away from your competitors, because we all have quite a number of competitors, especially in today's world.
In today's world, in this field, I actually, oh, there you are, your LinkedIn.
Right? So there's
with your Bitly. Yeah. And I put this down as a comment in the section, approach your job search process as a marketing campaign. I think like if there's one takeaway from this, I know that Barb Nengel, who's our community manager here at Known, and she also has a live stream, which is, I'm like, I spaced for a minute, Connection Corner. But she's always like, what's the one takeaway from each show that we're doing when we put this up on the website? And this one takeaway is definitely approach your job search process as a marketing campaign. So take everything into consideration, utilize all your tools, understand what your personal brand is. It's not just a resume, right? We're very, you have to be very creative. You have to utilize the tools that are available, the space that's available. This is something I tell businesses too. When you're on LinkedIn, utilize the cover image as your billboard. Like, utilize every single aspect of each of the tools that's provided to you. So I think this was a really important, yeah.
So you can see how I've used my Bitly here for my LinkedIn. So if obviously you can't copy paste from here, but so I'll see. I'll look tomorrow and see if anybody log in.
I'm like, hold on a second. I'm gonna type that out because I didn't use Bitly, but I put my LinkedIn. So I'm going to be silent for a moment as I'm typing this out correctly.
I'll take a sip of coffee.
All right. All right, I put it up.
All right.
So now that is on Facebook.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, as always, Giulia. I love doing these with you. And I hope that, that people understand that, you need to value your skills, right? It's not, I understand that there's a lot of stress and all of that goes around with not having, a paycheck or a 1099 or whatever that might be. But these tools, I promise you, will help you and will elevate you above your competition in a way that will help you in so many ways, not just in the eyes of the receiver, the person, or recruiter, or hiring manager, whatever that might be, but you're going to feel like you're in charge of your campaign. You're not just hitting send with job search stuff because of an online ad. You're being proactive, and you're approaching this with the 5 P's, and you can see how everything fits together. And there's a lot of personal power in that, I think, in making sort of flipping that switch in your head instead
Right.
of like, woe is me. It's like, I'm in charge, right? This is
Right.
my campaign, and it feels powerful.
It does. I think that's the 6th P now. Powerful.
Oh, I like that.
All right.
I'm
So the
gonna steal that.
5 Ps. Can we go over the 5 Ps again so I can write that in the
Sure.
comment section?
So product, you are the product.
You are the product.
Right. So price is whatever you charge, or your salary, or, depending upon what side of the fence you're on there. Place is, geographically where you want to work. Maybe it's remote, but it's also the place that you work at, right? Where is it? Are you taking the train? Where are you going? Are you driving? Right? It's the place. The next is promotion, which is all of this really is your promotional.
Yeah, we did an hour talking about promotion.
Right, promotion. And then the last one, the newest one that they've added over the last, I don't know how many years, is packaging. So packaging is, how you present yourself. Your promotion is your materials, but your packaging is you. And how you, the two, of course, go together, but it's not just how you look when you dress for an interview, for example, but it's all of this, right? It's how you package yourself. So it's your personal branding. Maybe if you buy into this, it's your hex colors, it's the color of your Gmail signature block. So those are the 5 Ps. And then the 6th one, I love this, I'm stealing it, is power. Because you do all of those things well.
All of those things are so empowering. Yeah, and I put that product, price, place, promotion, packaging equals power.
I love that. Thank you.
I think we end on that.
That's so good.
All right. So thank you again so much. I just want to let everybody know that we are going to be putting this up on the nhvknown.com website under the Digital Media Sync tab. I think I have like over 40 of these live streams now. And yeah, so I'm super excited. And this was a great one. So power to you as you go to your job search or gig search or freelance search, whatever it is.
Right.
Great.
Well, thank you. Have a great day, everyone.